Hey there, thank you for watching. My name is Melissa and this is the Creative Way Schoolhouse. It's my little corner of YouTube world where I like to share our homeschool journey, what we are using, what we love, how it's going. Yeah, just kind of my place to like geek out on homeschool stuff. If you are new here, which you probably are because this channel is new, we are a family of 5. I have 3 kids, ages 8, 5, and almost 2. They are all about to upgrade, so they will soon be 9, 6, and 2. And we travel full-time as a family. So for most of the year, we are traveling in our RV throughout the United States, doing life, work, school on the road. We do have another channel that documents more of our travel experience as a family, and you can follow along at the Creative Way Family. I'll include it in all the places on YouTube and then on Instagram. And yeah, so thank you for being here. If you looked at any of my other previous videos, then you would see that I announced that we are traveling full-time and about to get on the road, and that you would be seeing updates on the road. And then now you are seeing this video, and that was a year ago. So it is safe to say that I did not document and post about life on the road, but we did do it. We left last July from Texas and made our way up all the way to Montana. From July through November was how long we were on the road last year, and it was just like everything we wanted, everything we hoped for. It was an incredible experience. We got to visit bucket list places. If you want to see video of me bawling over mountains, you can go check it out on our other family channel. But it was just an incredible experience. We went to the Tetons twice. We got to spend a month in Montana because we didn't want to leave. Yeah, I highly recommend, if that is a dream of yours, if that is a goal of yours, you don't have to sell everything and move out of your house like we did, but it is so worth the sacrifice. It's not going to be a perfect experience. There were absolutely bumps along the way. It was not like the easiest thing to do, the most comfortable thing to do, but I'm so glad that we took the leap because it's just a once in a lifetime experience. So a few of my favorite like homeschool moments I will share with you is when we went to our first national park, which, to be honest, going to national parks really wasn't a huge thing we wanted to do. It wasn't the reason why we were traveling, but it ended up being like one of our favorite things to do. But Canyonland National Park in Moab, Utah was our first national park. And that's kind of the lesser known park compared to Arches in Moab. But it was incredible. And that's when like we got our America the Beautiful pass, worth every cent. And checked out the visitor center. They got the girls got their first junior ranger pack and badge. And we walked outside of the visitor center across the street, and there's basically this cliff, but it's just this wide open cliff with like giant rock formations, and you're looking out to this beautiful canyon. And I just remember standing there looking at my kids, sitting down, drawing in the junior ranger guide, and it was just like that moment that I had envisioned in my head. And yeah, it was just like a core memory of mine from the trip. And then another fun moment was when we were in Montana, and we were in this kind of small middle of nowhere town. It was after we had gone to the Tetons and to Yellowstone, and we just wanted to take a week to just kind of rest and catch up on work. And I picked up our Not Grass 50 States textbook. We weren't going through that textbook last year, but I brought it with us because, hello, it's the 50 states, and they has all these little tips and like key places to visit. And so I looked through it, and wouldn't you know that there was a historic gold rush town mentioned in the book just 15 minutes from us, and we were in the middle of nowhere, so it was really random. So we loaded up and went to this little town, and it was like an historic ghost town that you could go and tour and go into like the houses and the schoolhouse and go check things out. And then you could like pan for gold, but you were really panning for garnet, which is that the little red like jewels. And there was a local couple there that like that's what they did for fun. And so they weren't a tour guide, but they became our tour guide and helped us and the kids like pan for gold. It was so fun. It was just one of those moments where you're like looking at a textbook and then you're looking up and seeing it in real life. And it was just a really neat memory. So not all of that, like that wasn't every day on the road, but it certainly happened, and it was just a really fun experience to get to have. So I can't again recommend taking sacrifice and taking the leap, and making memories like that happen. Like no matter what that looks like for your family, it is worth it. Okay, so we did actually get school done while we traveled on the road, and believe it or not, we were the most consistent with lessons than we have ever been. And I actually had a feeling that that would happen. My husband and I we have our own business. Well, of course we work. My husband and I own our own business. We work from home, and have always had a very like sporadic schedule. But even before kids, we would travel often. We would travel for work. We would like, not every day looks the same. And that inconsistency has been consistent for our whole marriage and continues to be true of our life. So that makes it difficult and has made it difficult in the past for us to be consistent with homeschool lessons. I tended to be a little bit more relaxed, and I don't always recommend that. And I just had a feeling that when we got on the road and it was just us making our schedule and we had less outside influence from like family or work demands or church or friends, like when it was just us, I had a feeling that we would be more consistent with our schedule. And that is what happened. We got our work done, and I was so proud of us, and we saw the fruits of that consistency, and that just made us want to be even more consistent. So even when we got off the road, which we got off the road in November, it is the end of May, and we're currently still parked on family property. We are about to hit the road again in a couple of months. Not months. We are about to hit the road again in a couple of weeks. In just like 2 short weeks, we'll be back on the road. We're really excited. But even when we got off the road, we had to refresh kind of what our daily rhythm was, because our life changed being stationary, but we were still super consistent with lessons. And I'm really proud of that. So I wanted to share what curriculum we did use this past year, and what our plan is moving forward. I will have a whole list of videos coming up where I'm going through the curriculum we're using this coming school year, divided by each subject, so that they're hopefully shorter videos. This one will probably be a lengthier one, but I will try my best to keep it short. Okay, first up, let's do math, just because that seems to be pretty straightforward. We use MasterBook Math. We have since the beginning. I really love that curriculum. And my older YouTube channel, I actually have a video where I'm sharing all about why I love MasterBooks. I still love MasterBooks. We don't use them for every subject anymore, so I might actually update that video. But I still love MasterBooks, and MasterBooks Math has worked really well for us. If you're not familiar, MasterBooks is a very strong, biblically based company. Like, I would go as far to say evangelical. They're super strong, unapologetic about their faith, and I love it. So their math is still rooted in the Word. What is it called? Let's find it. Math Lessons for a Living Education series follows a family, a Christian family, and their kids like over the years. And so every lesson starts with a story about what that family's up to, and it ties in the math lesson. I will say I don't necessarily read the story anymore for my oldest, but I do for my youngest. And the lessons are short, they're sweet. It's a mastery-based curriculum. So there's usually like 3, maybe 4 main concepts that you're teaching every year. And it is just review, review, review with a gentle spiral review. We just really love it. This is level 4. So my daughter is moving into this level, but she still has to finish up her previous one. One of the things we use, one of the things we use with it is their Practice Makes Perfect book. So there's the textbook that you can absolutely just do this. And there's plenty of worksheets and plenty of work in here, but they do have a practice book for additional practice. And I really love adding this in. It means that we go through the math curriculum like slower, but it's fine because it just reinforces it. And then I also find that the practice book has a little bit more, like they're super colorful. They tend to have a little bit more games, puzzles, different types of activity. See, like the coloring thing. Let's see. Things like this. They won't be so much in the textbook, but the practice book has like different games and stuff. So that's a fun addition that we use. And that's what we used this past year. I forgot what this video was about. That's what we used this past year. My daughter is in math level 3, so she's finishing that up. And then my kindergartner finished up the kindergarten level. Okay, and let's go into reading. There's a lot to be unpacked in future videos that will be coming out soon. But for reading, we use All About Reading. My 8-year-old, right? She's 8, she's turning 9. Goodness. My 8-year-old is finishing up. She did All About Reading level 2 this year, and she's finishing that up. We've had kind of our own journey with her when it comes to reading. Stay tuned for future videos. Subscribe if you want to be notified when those videos come out. But we love All About Reading. It has been a huge blessing to our family. It has helped me so much learn how to teach reading, which is something I didn't know. I didn't know that I needed to know. Stay tuned for a future video on that one too. Oh, one thing we also did for language arts, I forgot to share, for my 3rd grader is we started using Easy Grammar. And my hope was just to start, as we're still working on reading, that's still our main focus. I wanted to also find something to add some grammar to that wasn't overwhelming, that wasn't super heavy on writing. And Easy Grammar was it for us. It was just like a daily, super quick, repetitive, like punctuation, capitalization, reviewing some grammar rules, and then her correcting sentences. We loved it. It did exactly what I wanted it to. Just give her easy, simple grammar rules that she can reinforce and practice while we're so focused on reading. So that was a great addition that we did this past year. And then my kindergartner did the All About Reading pre-reading level. And to be honest, we actually didn't love that one. Here's what I did love. I loved that the book gave very great phonic activities, like clapping to syllables, rhyming practice, hearing like for beginning and ending sound. It gave really great activities that I absolutely think are essential to do with your child in order to get them ready to read. Loved that. Other than that, I really felt like it was more for a pre-K level. And I probably would have done it with her in pre-K had I known that, because it was just introducing letters. There's a craft to decorate each letter. We didn't do that. She colored it sometimes. And you read stories. But I didn't feel like it was really reinforcing enough for her. She wasn't learning and retaining letters that well. So we added and then eventually switched completely to get ready, set. Oh, there we go. Get ready, set, go for the code. So this is Explode the Code. I love this as an addition to All About Reading. I use it for both of my girls. But for my kindergartner, we ended up using this as the main curriculum. And we actually reinforced what she was learning through here with some of the activities from All About Reading pre-reading. I think that makes sense how I said that. So she is finishing up set B, then she's going into set C. But this is what we did this past year for her kindergarten year. And when we made this switch, I really feel like that's when she started taking off with like letters and letter sounds, and she was retaining it a lot more. Okay, what else did we do? We did Bible, and we use, let me find it. We use Not Consumed Bible Studies for our family Bible study. And I love this. I love this as a resource. I love them as a company. The Bible studies are solid, and they just point you to Scripture, which is what I wanted. I wanted something that taught my kids how to read Scripture, how to go to the Word, and how to reference Scripture with more Scripture, and that's what this does. It is just a solid Bible study. They have so many different topics. And they're built and designed for families. And there's actually different level books that you can get for each of your children. And there's a parent study. So you all can have your individual Bible study and do it alongside each other and do it with each other. We ended up, that didn't work super well for us in previous years. It was a little bit too chaotic because I found myself constantly having to help each kid in what they were doing. And I wasn't actually teaching the study. So we ended up going through this Bible study really slow using my guide, the parent guide. This particular one is on the characteristics of God, and it's the 31-day Bible study, right? 26 day? No, I lied. 25 days. It's a 25-day Bible study. Each day is on a characteristic of God. We would take one day and stretch it out to cover a week. So I'm going to show you. This is the parent guide. The kid books, the kid study guides are age appropriate. They're not this in depth. But as I was going through this on my own, I realized I could teach my own kids through this guide. And so you'll see different highlighted colors. That was just me separating this one day into multiple days. And so we just did little bit by little bit, talking about that one characteristic a week, reading a couple pieces of Scripture, discussing it, praying about it. Sometimes I would have them like draw a picture or write something, but we loved this. This was a wonderful rhythm into our homeschool day, and I really, really enjoyed it. The next thing that we did in terms of Bible that I don't have, it's already put up in storage, is we started using Generations, Taking Jesus to the Americas. Generations was a new company for me. I've recently seen a lot more people talking about them, but they have, I believe it's history for them, but it's really Bible history. I consider it Bible history. They have basically each continent is a textbook or a book talking about how the gospel was spread to that area of the world. And so it takes you through some geography, it takes you through some history, like history book history and Bible history. And then it really shares stories of missionaries, which is what I loved so much about it. All about how the gospel was spread to that region of the world. So we were in Taking Jesus to the Americas, and it covered North and South America. So we talked about Leif Erikson, right? That's his name. Christopher Columbus, and then different historical missionaries, all the way up to modern history. And I loved it. We would do that after our Not Consumed. Then my girls would use their handwriting, get their handwriting out, start doing handwriting, and I would read from our Bible history with generations, and it was just a really nice flow. There's a student notebook that comes with it. We never used it. We just read it and talked about it, and it would take us maybe 2 to 3 days, depending on the length of the story, to get through one story. So that ended up taking a little bit over half of a year to get through. But I loved it. I really recommend it. We'll be doing it again in the future. We're taking a pause right now for it, but we'll be doing it again. And if you want to know what we're using in its place, be sure to subscribe, and a video will be coming out specifically about that. Okay, now for science. Y'all, I'm not a science mom. I'm like, if there's a subject that's going to fall off for me, it's science. I love the idea of it. I love the idea of experiments. I don't do them. I just don't. So while we were on the road, we didn't do science, which was fine. We were outside in nature. They got plenty of it through the junior ranger programs. That was fine. I very intentionally did not want to do science while we were on the road, but my girls were asking for it, specifically like to start doing experiments again, which looking back, I actually still didn't do. I'm so bad when it comes to that stuff. I'm so bad when it comes to that. But my girls were specifically asking for science as a subject again. So I asked them to give me one subject each that they wanted to learn about. My oldest chose ocean, and my youngest chose birds. So this was right around the holiday time, and this is such a homeschool mom thing to do. But I put together a really big basket of like a bunch of ocean related stuff. I had games, I had stuffed animals, I had coloring sheets, I had toys, and then I had our curriculum and our like picture books and stuff that we were going through. So that was one of their Christmas gifts, which I know you get a textbook for your Christmas gift basically. But we used Apologia's Zoology 2, which is all creatures in the sea, as our main spine textbook for our ocean studies. And this was a bit of a out of left field for me, because Apologia Science is really traditional textbook. And it's not typically something I would think about going for, but I looked at so many reviews, and there was just great reviews about that series. I actually got the textbook from Thrift Books, so it wasn't the most recent edition, but that was fine. I wasn't planning on using the whole course. I just wanted the textbook as a spine. So the way I used it was kind of like a science read aloud. And my kids loved it, and I loved it, and I'm very surprised, because it's written well, it's written for kids, but it still reads like a textbook, and it still feels like a traditional textbook, which sounds like it would be boring, but it wasn't. And they retained information. Like, I would read a little bit while they were doing something. Sometimes it was science related, sometimes it was playing with Play-Doh, sometimes it was just coloring. And they could retain and talk about what we were learning. It was just, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be mind blown, but I was. And then the other thing we loved doing is usually I would read, and then we would go straight to YouTube and look up videos, and it would just reinforce what they were learning. And that was just such a fun thing. We didn't do the experiments, but they had some really good ones in there. I'm not great about looking ahead of time and making sure I have everything. I'm very open and go. And so when I open and go and it says you need all these things, I'm like, nope. And so I just flipped over it. But one thing we did do was it suggested making a diorama, and basically after you learn about an animal, you make that animal with clay. And so we did do that, and they did love it. And maybe I'll share, because I don't have it with me, maybe I'll share in another video, different supplies and fun things that we're using in our homeschool. But I used I'll link the clay below. I don't remember how to describe it. but it dries like a foam. And so it's real soft. There's a million colors. The girls loved it. So that was a really fun thing. And Pat, like, I did that. So that's good. But we really did enjoy doing that science. Using Apologia. We didn't get through all of it, which I'm fine with. They're such a young age. I really just want to make sure that like they're getting exposure, they're learning, and they're having fun with it. And we checked all of those boxes. Okay, so then I think it's the last subject, is history. The way we like to do history is through books and through stories. We started with the American Girl series and would pick out certain topics in that time era to talk about, to look up YouTube videos, to check out more books from the library on, and to to discuss, notebook on, draw pictures. And that was basically it. I just want my kids to have a good understanding of right now of the major events that have happened in American history. And I want them to remember it primarily through stories from kids' perspectives. So we mostly, while we were on the road, we focused mostly on the pioneer times. And I don't have the book with me, but I will try to link it below. I found a book through thriftbooks.com, and it was basically an illustrated diary of a girl whose family, they were traveling the Oregon Trail to get to California. And we would just read through it. I had really high hopes of like a bunch of different activities and like us documenting and journaling, making our own diary of our own adventure, because it was like parallel. That didn't happen. We did read though and have conversations. I did introduce my kids to the Oregon Trail game, which they loved. We did watch some YouTube videos, and then obviously we had some like real life encounters of, some of the things, especially in that part of the country that we were on. We were on the Oregon Trail for part of our time. We were on this Lewis and Clark trail several times. So they obviously got some like real world experience, but history, check. We did it. We did it. And I think they enjoyed it. When we got off of the road, we focused primarily on the Civil War and like slavery, Abe Lincoln era. And we did a lot of library books, a lot of YouTube videos, and mostly discussions. We didn't have a main like chapter book or anything that we were reading through, but we did that's what I meant to tell you. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's been a long day of recording. One of my favorite resources that I have found, and I will link it below, is Teaching History Through Literature. I have a PDF ebook of it, but there is a physical book that you could probably buy used. And it has been like my favorite #1 resource if you want to teach history through books and go more unit study style. I cannot recommend this book enough. It divides American history into eras. It gives you suggested chapter books, suggested picture books, suggested movies. It gives you key people, places, things, events, vocabulary, discussion questions. Like, it gives you recipes, crafts. It gives you everything. It is like a phenomenal find. So I use that as kind of my blueprint to work through history this year, and it has been a huge help. So I don't have anything super formal besides that to share with you, and just like scoured YouTube, which there are some great YouTube videos out there when it comes to history, kid appropriate, super informative. I did find that what worked best was finding multiple videos on the same topic, because it would be taught differently. Maybe there's a 3-minute video, and then maybe there's like a 12-minute video, and we would do both of them. So it would reinforce the topic that we were on and introduce it in different ways. So that was helpful. Okay, you guys, I think that's it. Last year, done. We're on our summer break. It was a success. I'm proud of us. We've made a lot of progress. So, what is next for us? We are about to hit the road in a couple of weeks. We typically will homeschool year round with a short summer break. So that's exactly what we're doing this year. We're on a break right now. We will probably get started after 4th of July. So that's a good month and a half off for us. And that gives us about a month of being on the road. So we kind of get our road legs back underneath us. We get into a rhythm, and then we'll start incorporating lessons again. I think we will ease into it. So probably a few 2 to 3 weeks before our official start date. I do have a few things I'm going to introduce specifically for my now 4th grader. We'll probably start our spelling program since that's a new thing. And we might start our read aloud and literature study. If you want to know more about that, be sure to subscribe because I have a whole series of videos coming out where I will walk you through what we're using for each subject this year, and more of my plan for school on the road. All right, you guys, thanks for sticking around. This is a lengthier video. Thanks for watching if you made it all the way through. If you like this kind of content, I would be honored if you subscribed and hung out with me. And I will see you guys next time.